usually around in your 50s, if it's not in your 40s, that is the time when you usually experience what I call the sandwich generation, and what many say are the sandwich generation. And what that means is that you, if you have children, you're trying to finish raising your children, and if you have parents that are still alive, now your parents are starting to need you. There comes a time when you can depend on your parents and lean on your parents. But it's sometimes in your 50s, sometimes it can push on to the 60s, but your parents are now needing you to now lean on as well. So that can happen, and you got to look for that, because it comes on you. Some people it comes on suddenly, and then for other people it comes on a little bit later. And that takes me to a lot of you, if you have opportunity in your 30s to get disability insurance, that is very key, because a lot of times you may not die, but you also need to make sure that you have disability insurance, because you need to make sure that if something happened and you cannot work or you cannot do your business or thing, that you have some way of some form of being able to kind of take care of yourself. It's not the whole thing, but it is a part of that. And now you do need to have some residual money somewhere, someplace where you can grab at it, or you can get to it, if in the event that you, as you getting older, you have somewhere to get some funds from. And for many of you, it's going to be doing things that will bring in money without you having to be the person to go and quote earn it. Now, when you get into your 60s, for it depends on which generation you are a part of, you are now thinking about retirement. Now that happens for most people who are in their 60s right now, because they were raised, and we were raised to believe that at 60 or 65, somewhere in those 60s, that we were to retire. And so our focus and our thing is looking at, when can I hit that button for retirement. Now the people who are much younger may not be on that same wavelength, because some of them will not have to retire, because the type of situation that they're going to have is they'll be able to well work on that or do that all the way throughout their lifetime. So it's going to be different based on your generation. And so in those that are over 60, and you have been one of those that live over 60, now you're dealing with functional decline. And what you're trying to do is you're now trying to do functional maintenance. You're trying to maintain what you have as far as function, your mental capacities, and you're trying to maintain your physical capacity as well. And a lot of times during this time is a time of isolation, because as you grow, a lot of times your friends and family, and even a lot of the people that you know, are now either they are older, sometimes they don't drive, sometimes they not in the best of health, and so you can't get out like you used to get out. So your connection has to be intentional. And also too, a lot of times you're losing friends as to age, and sometimes to health problems. Not only that, but a lot of your heroes are dying. And also very important that I think a lot of young people don't maybe recognize in their elders and people that are older than them, is that a lot of times people who are over 60s, I would say over 70, 80s, and 90s, they don't recognize the world that they're in now. The world looks so different, and if they haven't been keeping up, they feel left behind, because a lot of the things that are going on in this particular generation weren't happening all throughout their lifetime. And if they haven't been keeping up, they feel left behind. So it's very important, if you have somebody like that in your life, is to try to keep, if you are, that person. Try to keep up with what you can. You may not know everything that the young people know, but try to learn a little bit. Let them teach you a little something, something. Even if it's technology, let them teach you how to play with a little button. Let them help you with to get to your little social media. Let them help you learn some few things, because what it will do is it helps you to stay into the world that you now live in, because too many people are trying to go back to a world that don't exist anymore, and that's why they're angry and they're frustrated, because they want the world to return back to where it was. And guess what? The world is not going back there. In fact, we are in a season of transition, and so many people, because they're not ready for the next transition, they are going to feel left behind. And so I would like for us to get ready to keep our eyes and our ears, stay engaged, so that you can know what is going on in this world and what's going on in your community and what's going on with you. So all of those things that you need to know so that you can transition. Yes, it's going to be the best of times and it's going to be the worst of times. And you have to decide which side of that you're going to be in. And so right now you can make a decision and then start preparing and doing the best you can. That doesn't mean that you might not be affected by either side, but it can mean that you can minimize the damage and minimize the amount of how it's going to be affecting you, especially in a negative way.